I'd like you to imagine your dream life. See the version of you who has what you want to have, feels how you want to feel, and is who you want to be. I'm Brittany Hoops, your hypnotherapist and manifestation coach, and this is the show where I'll teach you to master the full power of your mind, to guide you on your journey towards destination manifestation.
Take a step back for the ones who can't do that.
All right. Hello there, travelers. So today I wanted to do something a little different, okay? We're going to play around a little bit here. Today's going to be a little bit of a shorter episode than usual, which you may or may not like, but it's going to be a whole lot more actionable. You won't necessarily even learn something, but you will embody something. And that's really the goal of all this. And recently I was kind of thinking about, I was doing that soul searching like I talked about last episode. And I was thinking about who I wanted to be, the identity I wanted to embody here in the manifestation space. I call myself a hypnotherapist. That feels true because that is primarily what I do. I primarily work with clients one-on-one as a hypnotherapist. But now that I'm writing a book, and last year that I've, launched this podcast, I'm on Podcaster, there just kind of wasn't one single word or single phrase that sort of captured the way I saw myself, professionally, that captured my role, my title, who I am, and even who I want to be. If you listen to our last episode, you know how important identity is to manifestation. And that's exactly what I was, attempting to define here. So I did something very nerdy that I'm not afraid to admit. I went to good old ChatGPT and I typed in something like, what would you call someone who is an author, podcaster, and teacher, but who doesn't teach traditional classes and who is an expert in their field? I just wanted to see what it would say because I couldn't come up with it. And it came up with like a slew of titles, but there was one idea that it had that really caught my eye. And it was the title of thought leader. Now, at first, I sort of rolled my eyes because who calls themselves a thought leader? But then it kind of made me chuckle because technically that is what I do in hypnotherapy. I lead people to think better feeling thoughts that are a greater and higher vibrational match to their manifestations. I'm a thought leader. And I've always sort of described hypnotherapy sort of like training wheels, that you might have on a bike when you first learn how to ride your bike. You listen to the hypnotherapy audios that I provide, especially the custom audios that I create. I write custom audios for each of my 6-session program clients. And those thoughts are your training wheels. I offer you those thoughts. You accept those thoughts. And it's like listening to me think them helps you it's your training wheels to ride the bike, right? You listen to it while you're in this relaxed, receptive state. You think the thought after me, and it helps to train your brain, just like training wheels would, in helping you create new beliefs. And so once you practice and ride the bike enough times, right? i.e. you listen to your hypnotherapy audios daily for enough days, then you'll know how to think those thoughts yourself. And you won't need somebody like me to think them for you, right? They're just going to be habitual to you. They're going to be a new subconscious habit that you've built. So, as I was thinking about what I wanted this episode to be, I kind of thought back to my new role as thought leader, right? Now, this won't be hypnosis. I don't do hypnosis on the podcast, but I will be speaking to your conscious mind, okay? So I want you to take a moment to remind yourself who the heck you are and to remind yourself of your capability and your capacity. That's what we're going to be doing today. And to offer you some thoughts that maybe you haven't thought about yourself today. Sound good? Are you guys willing to let me know if you like episodes in this style? I would appreciate it. If you like them, we'll do more. If you don't, we won't. It's fine. Whatever. Because if you do, I can do more of them. So before we truly begin, I want you to think about the life you want to live. Okay? You know the one. The one that's filled with all those manifestations you've been wanting to bring into the world. The one that is littered with all of your dreams. This is good litter. Littered with all your dreams, where you're fully manifested and they're fully realized in your 3D reality. I want you to get to picture that in your mind. I want you to feel it. I want you to get a sense of it. I want you to think about it, because I want to remind you. Yes, I want to remind you that it's already yours. And on a deeper level, when you quiet your mind, when you listen to your heart, you know exactly what to do to create it. Sometimes it may not feel like it, but you know exactly what to do. And here right now, you're going to commit yourself to do it. When I say that you know exactly what to do, I bet there was an idea that just sort of popped into your mind, just sort of fluttered into the mind, maybe even just briefly, just a glimmer of an idea that popped into your mind before your conscious mind then followed suit and followed up and said, oh, but I don't know if it will work, or that might take too much time, or I've tried that before, and why would it work now? Or how do I know for sure it's going to work? I need to know for sure it's going to work before I do it. And all that conscious mind chatter likes to just try to follow up on those glimmers of inspiration. But there was an idea that popped up before all of that came crashing in. There's an idea, a path, a map that already exists in your heart that sometimes could just get a little clouded by all the other thoughts. And so I want you to look at that plan. I want you to listen to that plan. I want you to embrace that place and execute it. Put it into action. It doesn't have to be right or work. In fact, for most of us, we could make any plan work. There isn't just one plan that works. Any plan, any idea that we have, we could make work. It's not the plan that works. It's our alignment to it. Hear that. It's not the plan or the idea that works. It's your alignment to it. I realized this even the other day. I realized even in my own business, I was just overwhelmed with so many, good ideas, so many things I wanted to do, so many things I wanted to create. The only downside of having a job that you're very passionate about is that you're flooded with ideas. I get so inspired that I realized it was actually causing me a problem. I realized that I had shiny object syndrome, meaning that every few days I was switching what project I wanted to work on or what I wanted to create, or, oh, I'm going to write a book. Oh, no, I'm going to do a course. Oh, no, I'm going to do this. Like every day I wanted to do it all, right? I was jumping to this. I was jumping to that, always thinking that there was some other thing that I needed to be doing that would be the next successful thing or method or plan. Like it was all, the success was all out there and I had to just find it. But then it was becoming overwhelming because it's like, oh, well, what if it doesn't work? Well, what if this is the wrong one? And then I wasn't doing anything. I was just stuck and trying to fortune tell what I thought was going to be successful or work. But then my inner voice came through loud and clear. And it said, any path can lead to success. You just have to walk it. Meaning it's not the method or the teacher or the strategy or the project that is the successful thing. Any of those can be successful. I think if you're an entrepreneur and if you're an online entrepreneur, there are many other, and I know I've talked about this before, there are many other coaches, teachers in the online entrepreneur space who their whole business is convincing you through very effective marketing that you need their method. The only reason you aren't where you want to be yet is because you haven't done their method. And their method is the one that works. Look, they've made millions and their students have made millions and their method, that's why. And this is the only thing that's separating you from success. And you're like, okay, yes, let's do it. And you sign up for the thing. But then you realize like, oh, maybe it's not their method that made it successful. It's whether or not you're aligned as you take those steps. And that's why there's so many different freaking methods. Even when it comes to manifestation, I'm going to have a certain way of doing it that might resonate with some people, but there are going to be other manifestation teachers that resonate with others. That's one of the reasons why I'm going to get back to doing our Manifesty Bestie series here soon, is I want you to hear from all the different teachers because I want you to have the opportunity to hear what resonates with you. Because it isn't the method, it isn't the teacher, it isn't the plan, it isn't the idea that is successful. Any of those can be successful. You just have to align to it and do it. So what I ended up doing is I came up with my own aligned manifestation-based quarterly planning process. That's a mouthful. Try to say that 3 times fast. I remember doing quarterly planning days back during my corporate years when I worked at Instagram. And I remember actually hating this quarterly planning because it always felt like it took us half the quarter to actually define what the plan was. And then we were always scrambling to finish the plan in that quarter or make any sort of dent in the plan because we spent so much time trying to figure out what the plan was. And I'm very much an action girly. And so I'm like, okay, let's get a jump on here. Let's do something, right? But I realized that I hadn't been doing that, a whole bunch of that for my own business. And it was about time that I do so. But I didn't want it to feel and be like the stodgy corporate process that I had kind of grown up with, right? Like, yuck. I wanted to have it be rooted in alignment and flow. I wanted it to be intuition based, but I also needed to sort of rein myself in and actually focus here. So I devised the perfect balance. And if you guys are interested in this, I don't know how many of you all are entrepreneurs or you like to do sort of quarterly planning in any sort of way. If you're interested in what I came up with, just let me know. Just DM me and maybe I could record a training or I could just send it to you. I could record an episode. Just DM me on Instagram and let me know. But first and foremost, I started this process by getting in this super aligned state. That's where you want to start the process from. And that's really key here. And I visualized what my business goals were for the next year, and then how those would ladder up, how each quarter would ladder up to fulfilling that overall manifestation and that goal. And then I picked those actions that felt most aligned, that inspired aligned action that would achieve that goal, the project that I wanted to work on. And most importantly, for me, I lock them in. And so this is where I think a lot of people are like, wait, Brittany, if you lock in your actions, then you're cutting yourself off from inspiration. You're cutting yourself off from alignment. And here's where I want to offer a different perspective. No, this whole process was rooted in alignment. All these decisions were rooted in alignment. So each day I don't have to question if this is aligned action or not. I know it's aligned action because it was created from a state of alignment. And that's what makes it kind of beautiful, is that you don't need to be aligned to the decision of the action every single day. You just have to get yourself aligned to the success in what you're doing. So it's decided I'm working on XYZ project. I don't need alignment to the decision of that project anymore. Now what I focus on my alignment each day is how I show up to that project. You know, if I got up on the wrong side of the bed, well, then that's the kind of alignment I need to shift and change day to day. I'm not swaying from that aligned decision until I reach my next quarterly planning day. And you know what? I might have some really brilliant ideas that are completely different than what I'm currently working on, and that's fine. I put them on my list. I save them for the next quarter. If they really truly feel so deeply aligned, I can do them next quarter. But I'm going to see through what I'm working on here. And I'm not going to get distracted by the next teacher or the next method or the next thing that promises any sort of level of success. Because it's not the thing that brings the success. It's the alignment that you bring when you sit down to do the thing. That's the successful part. So do those things through to the end. And then that's going to be a win-win, because A, either this project is successful and it leads you to that manifested desire that you outlined, or B, you're going to learn something, which is also a win too. I'll know so much more than I know now about what works after having done that for 3 months straight, right? But switching what you're working on every few days, every few weeks, switching and never really getting any traction, that teaches you nothing. That's the lose-lose situation where you have lost and wasted all your time and you don't have anything to show for that time. And that makes us start to, when we get into that trap, it makes us start to believe that it's the outside thing that creates the success. That you have to pick the right action or the wrong action in order to be successful. And that, oh my goodness, if you pick the wrong thing, then you just wasted 3 months and blah, 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 blah. We can fall into that trap rather than creating that success, that alignment to success from within, and then taking that aligned, successful energy that is bubbling within you and then applying it to whatever mechanism or project or method that you choose. It could be anything. That's why there's so many different routes to success. There's no one way to achieve your manifestation, right? And so I want you to do that right now. I want you to recognize that there are a million actions, a million different paths you could take to your destination manifestation. Let's just say that you wanted to manifest a job that you actually really like, okay? You want to go to work and you want to like it, okay? You could start your own business. You could make soap. You could draw cartoons. You could make jewelry. It could be applying for a job at a different company that you think you'd like more. You could switch departments or roles in your current company so that you work with your work besties. You could ask a friend of yours that you really love if there's any roles open at her job. And then now here you're working with your best friend and you really like that. It could be the same job, but then you renegotiate your role with your boss to focus on the things that you enjoy more. You get the idea, right? There are a million different paths to a job that you actually enjoy, to whatever it is that you're wanting to manifest. It's not the path that creates the success. It's who you are. It's what you bring. It's the alignment you create. It's your attitude. It's your thoughts. It's your beliefs that you have about any path that you may choose. That you choose it and you align to it. And better yet, get in that aligned state first and then choose the path that you'll do it. And then make sure that your alignment continues to match the alignment for success in that area. Follow through with it from that state of alignment. It's truly that simple. So let this be simple and easy. Let any path you choose be the correct one. Decide, because I picked it, it is the correct one. And with that belief and with that alignment, it's impossible to do it wrong. So I hope that reminded you who the heck you are. And I hope you remember now just how truly capable you are. You know what to do, and you can do it from that aligned state. And your desire is just waiting for you on the other side of that process, on the end of the ribbon of that successful alignment. Now, sometimes listening to a little pep talk like this is all you need. Other times, we got to call out the big guns, right? Some of these negative thoughts, some of these limiting beliefs, they can be so deep-seated that they require some subconscious excavating, if you will. And that's when I usually recommend for you to turn towards reprogramming your subconscious mind, especially when it comes to feeling more confident. I find that that's where we really need to focus, having a greater sense of conviction, a greater sense of belief that your goal is possible for you, that you are capable, that you can make yourself consciously believe in yourself and your goal. We often try to conscious and effort our way to it, but you can also retrain your brain subconsciously to do so. And I find that to be a lot more efficient and a lot more effective. It's actually working with how your brain truly works. So if this is something that you think that you could benefit from, if you're like, yeah, Brittany, I need to do some subconscious excavating. This conscious mind stuff ain't working. I've created a free training, and it is called Your Ultimate Guide to Reprogramming Your Subconscious Mind to Think Confident and Positive Thoughts, so that it's automatic for you. Because that's what we want this to be. We want it to be easy. We want it to be automatic. We want it to be normal and natural. We want it to just be something you don't have to think twice about. Your conscious mind, you don't even need it. It's just all automated subconscious processes and patterns and behaviors. And so I'm going to drop the link to this free training below in the show notes. My trainings, I kind of like them. They're like podcasts, but on steroids, right? They're very actionable podcasts. They're completely free, super actionable, that will literally teach you how to do that reprogramming on your own. Not all of us want to jump into one-on-one hypnotherapy. That's where I help you do it. This will teach you how to do it on your own. So check that out, and I'll see you in the next episode.